We have massive, huge breaking news in the NHL. The Mitch Marner era in Toronto was finally coming to a close. He has been officially dealt to Vegas in a sign and trade deal. We'll discuss the contract he's getting with Vegas and with the return to the Maple Leafs coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. As I mentioned, we have a massive sign and trade deal in the NHL between the Toronto Maple Leafs and the Vegas Golden Knights. We've kind of speculated this might be coming over the past 24 to 48 hours, and now it's officially happening. Marner is being dealt after signing an 8-year, $12 million per year contract, so a total of $96 million. He signs it with the Leafs to get the 8th year, which has been speculated he wasn't going to do, but it turns out he is doing it and has been dealt to the Vegas Golden Knights. Now, the return going back to Toronto right now appears to be forward Nikolai Waugh, who makes $3 million and is a pretty decent number 3 centerman. The fact that the Leafs can get anything out of this, to be honest, is pretty good. I mean, obviously, you know, Marner is a high-level, elite-level playmaking winger. He's put up some great numbers in Toronto. Unfortunately for Marner, he and his team have not been able to get the job done in the playoffs. Marner has taken a lot of heat for his lack of production and performance when it matters most. His playoff numbers overall don't look too bad, but if you break it down to games like 5, 6, 7 closeout games when their backs against the wall, that seems to be when he hasn't been able to get the job done. And as we heard from GM Brad Treliving, it was time for a change in DNA. Well, this will certainly spawn the beginning of that, with Marner heading out of town. Obviously, like I said, he gets a long-term deal with Vegas. Like I said, too, like the rumors for the longest time here was that he didn't want 8 years, that he was going to be looking at a 4 or 5 year deal. There's some rumors about 2. I'm not sure, maybe the changes in the upcoming CBA changed his mind. Something changed his mind, because we've only heard about the 8 years likely being a possibility as of like last night or this morning, after Elliot Friedman appeared on the Spit and Checklist podcast, and he heard that that's likely what is going to be the case. So Marner is now officially a Vegas Golden Knight. 8 years, $12 million per year. Obviously, I don't think this is the case of the no state tax being a major influence, but it does help keep that AAV down a little bit for sure. It's unfortunate. A lot of people think that Marner should have been, a Toronto Maple Leaf for life, and that he could have had the city right in the palm of his hand and been a legendary hero there. Unfortunately, his legacy is going to go down as probably, I have a feeling with Leafs Nation, he might be one of the most hated players ever. Or at the very least by a lot of people, is going to have mixed emotions. $12 million per year, to be honest, is not a terrible salary for him. But it's the fact that it's on another team, you know, and he's parting ways here. I mean, obviously, I think Mitch has had enough dealing with the crazy media center in Toronto, and you know, as much as the fans are passionate there, it's not for everybody. It's just that this is that simple. We've heard some stories where he's had a tough time, but you know what? If you're gonna play in a market like Toronto, you know, arguably one of the biggest, if not the biggest market in hockey, and you're going to command the big bucks, and you're going to have the big stage, you got to be able to take the heat. And if you can't take the heat, you got to get out of the kitchen. And that's what happened here today. He's going to a desert instead, where it's a lot hotter, but not from a media standpoint. And he'll get the chance to play with Jack Eichel and Mark Stone and some of these other guys, Tomas Hertl, and likely fly under the radar and have a better off-ice life, I would suspect, from stress-free. Things that he doesn't like about Toronto, he won't get into them in Vegas. And that's going to be what I think ultimately what came down to his decision. A lot of people think that Marner and Vegas have had a backdoor deal agreed upon for like a year, which is why he would negotiate with the Maple Leafs at all during the past season. I can't verify any of that. I don't know if that's true, but I know people do out there that think it's a possibility. And like I said, we've heard a lot about, you know, will the Leafs accuse Vegas of tampering? I don't think they can now, because they signed the contract with the Leafs and traded him. I think that avoids all that mess of anything even being looked into. I mean, the league, if they want to look into it and investigate on their own, they don't need a team complaint to investigate tampering or anything else. So I don't think we'll see anything like that, but this is a huge deal for Vegas. It's an end of an era in Toronto. I'll be curious to see what comes next for Brad Treliving and company as they respond to try to replace that offense in the lineup. Let me know what you think on this massive deal in the comments. We'll discuss further. If you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe and stick around. We'll keep you up to date with all the news, rumors, and analysis of all 32 NHL teams. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next time.
Bye.